This video is about filling out the contact log when a new contact is encountered. This could be a parent, it could be a friend, a coworker who has contacted the school through a phone, mail, email, or any other means. And what we're trying our best to do is get the people on the front desk and in admissions to record every one of these people and continuously follow them up. Now, it takes practice to get this information, and it is available in two locations. Let me pull on the admissions home, and you'll see that we have this row of buttons devoted to the contacts, and the new contact is located here. And it's the same in the front desk, where we have the row devoted to contacts, and the new contact is here. But before we get to that, what we suggest you do is use the blank contact log button, and it's on both screens. We can push this aside and you'll see it here on admissions. And what it does is create a blank form. This you can print out and fill out the information on paper. Eventually you will get accustomed to it and be able to enter the information quickly on the computer, almost in real time. But to start with, it's good to take that sort of information down, and then you always have a record in your files for it. And also you might notice that the blank is in the admission documents. You'll see it says blank contact log sheets right here. Didn't show up. Okay. And you can open it from there as well. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll pull those off the screen and we'll go back to admissions. And when you have a new contact to enter, you click the new contact button, confirms. By clicking on the new contact button, we get the prompt for confirming we want to create one. Click OK. It opens the contact log, telling us that we're on Sunday, August the 27th. It is pre-inserting the date, and it's also inserted my staff ID. We start with the student. The contact person is a little later on. We're interested in getting whether the student is male or female, because it helps with the names that are built in. So if we click on female, you'll notice a red line. If we click on male, we notice a blue line, so that we can pick the names from that. Oops. Darn. So from the given name, we can choose the local names. In this case, we've used some Vietnamese names. The middle name is interesting. Often you can't get that information, and we didn't put a choice to it. But you can just type this in, and then there's the family name, which would be, we'll choose Bowie, for example. The birth date is nice to get because that helps us plan the dates or the grades that the student needs. So we can choose, say, March the 10th, the year being 2014. This determines that their age today is 3.5 years old, and their birthday this year will be 3, which puts them in PK. It also sets their nationality as Vietnam, just by default, because that's where the school is located. Now you can change that quite easily just by typing in their country. The current school, well, we'll just choose Maple Bear or something like that. Now English skills is the next item, and it's for children in the preschools. Yeah, it's not really that critical, but you can choose, for example, either none, beginner, elementary, intermediate, or advanced. And relative to their age, it's a valid decision, because if the child has nothing and they are 3.5 years old, it's interesting that the staff knows that. If they are just starting to talk a little bit in English, this is good, being elementary or beginner. And if they're getting an awful lot of words, are in elementary. That's really would help the staff an awful lot. And if their listening skills, they could be non-existent. The reading would be none. Their speech might be just starting out, and the writing certainly will be none. And then we get to the parent. Usually it's a Mrs. or Mr. And again, we're trying to put the family name. Oops, I've got them in as So the family name is also chosen. We'll take Bowie, and their first name is Bach. Their email address is important to get so we can contact them. So we have to type in some type of an email. .com, whatever it be. You can test the email at that point by clicking this button. It will then create an email that you can send, and if you get a bounce back, it either means that it's not a valid email or you've typed it incorrectly. The phone, again, you just type in the digits and it will format it. Interesting to have the relationship. It might be the mother, could be the grandmother or the aunt. A recall hint is something we like you to put down. For example, if a woman wore red glasses, she had red hair, she was spoke excellent English, something that helps you. So you say, "Oh, it's Mrs. Bowie, with her son Bin, or daughter Bin, who wore the red hat," or she talked about living in Afghanistan, or something like that. It's just how you could remember her. And then we asked, English is, does she speak English? Yes or no? That is important to know. So if she doesn't speak English, okay. And then we try to get an assessment, and we put this in the middle sort of the topic, as to whether the person is interested or not. And we have rated it kind of following the temperature of water, just like your taps. Hot being somebody who's active, really interested. We hope we could pursue them and get them in the school. Warm meaning either they are sort of interested but they haven't made a commitment, or they could have been cold and then warmed up. So, and of course, cold means that they're not likely to come in. It's not going to be something that we actively pursue. A browser is someone who is just inquiring, trying to maybe ask what the price of the tuition is or what the times are, but not really that interested. And of course, the purpose of the enrolled and enclosed is towards the end, so that if the student does get enrolled, we then can classify this contact as enrolled, and it resets it out of the contact list into the student list. And if we can't pursue something after a certain number of days, we can close the file, so it isn't cluttering up your active files all the time. Some other information we would like to get from them is the question about a free English test, meaning that young children, we would probably just be able to sit and ask them some questions and we wouldn't charge for that. It would be good to be able to sit with the child and understand that. Consultation, if somebody is just coming in and talking, it would be the main goal would be to get them back to talk to the principal and the head teachers or the teachers, so that we can get further with them, talk to them further, explain it to them further. So the first question is yes or no to consultation, and if it is yes, then you choose the date and the time, being at Tuesday, whatever, the 30th of August at 11:15. And the other question is, does she know someone? Yes or no, that helps. And then you can type in the person she knows. Mrs. Wang. Okay. Another question, of course, is their timing. Is it immediate, next month, next term, next year, or unknown? Okay. Another question is, have they visited our website? So it's visited the website or not visited the website. And if they don't know that answer, don't answer it. And we ask how we can contact them. So ask if we can, and can we, by email, by phone, by mail, not too often do that, by Skype, by text messaging, and by the WhatsApp, or any other document or form that you use. The best time to contact, mornings, evenings, afternoons, or any time, just so that we don't interfere if they have a job in the morning and afternoon or something. And I think I just put myself ahead. Okay. The next step are the steps. We should ask them, what is their next step? We've put some suggestions down here. They want to talk to their spouse. They want to visit other schools. They need time. This is just for future planning, just so we know kind of where they are taking this. The other, and of course, is their concerns. And is it tuition? Is this premature? Meaning this kid's 1 year old or 3 months old and they won't be going to school for 2 years or something. Is the distance a problem? Curriculum concerns, meaning that they don't see things in the curriculum they're looking for. The cost, of course, and do we have the facilities they think are important? Some parents have a concern over pickup after school, or busing is the other one, getting the kids to school. The location has some bearing on it because they may live in a different part of the city. And of course, language. They may be concerned about not having English, or the school having too much English, and so on. And of course, you can edit this list, or you can just type in your own decision there. Another thing that helps us in marketing is how they heard about CIK. So we can type whether it's a billboard or the Facebook or internet and so on. And of course, it's nice to know where they live. So we've got the districts of Hanoi in here. I think I've got them all. And we can choose a district so that we have an idea. And also there's the source, is how did they get here? Did they phone the school? Yeah, was it from a parent group, open house, which is different than how they heard about us, but how they got there. So in the end, that information, as we said, it takes practice to get this down, because you kind of have to have in your head this column here as your question column. This is the things you need to ask, and then these are the fill in, so that if you don't want to stand down with a form and have someone fill it in. We could do that, I suppose. There's nothing wrong with that. But the main thing is to get this information, because then as the admissions front desk person, you should be on this every day, following up who's come in, who hasn't come in, where are they, and so on. And this system, by the way, was built from a school that Offshore Education had in Korea, and was very successful. They moved from 22 students when they got involved to 268 students in 4 months, with attention to this sort of process, and this form was built from that work.